Hello everyone, my name is Will. Welcome back to another video. This is a video that has been in the works for honestly years because this has been one hell of a journey, I'm not gonna lie. Today we're gonna be discussing gaining weight as a skinny person. This is something that I have struggled with my entire life. If you are going through this right now, just know that you are not alone. This has been something that has eaten me away. I was, made fun of a lot for it growing up. And the thing with being skinny is that people don't have the same level of consideration as when you're overweight. It's totally okay to just make passing comments like, oh my god, you're so skinny, or like, oh my god, eat a burger or something. Like, those things are considered totally fine. I even had an ex tell me that I couldn't even comprehend what it was like to be insecure because I was conventionally attractive, which I beg to fucking differ at the time. I think I look pretty okay now, but back then most certainly not. I want to just say right now, there is nothing wrong with being skinny at all. This video is going to be discussing also kind of the mental impact of all of this and making sure you have the correct reasons for doing this. I know for myself personally, and I've seen this in other people's videos, they didn't directly say this, but it was pretty easy to pick up on. A lot of people do it for the wrong reasons. There is absolutely nothing wrong with going on this journey to become more confident because of how other people will perceive you. That is a big part of it, but the thing is, you need to be careful to make sure that you're not putting all of your self-worth on whether or not you can be not skinny or not. I've been through this many times. I have tried to gain weight consistently since I was about 17 years old. I'm 23 now. And it didn't work for me until last year. I tried that entire time. I was sitting between 105 and 115 up until I was 20. I gained a few pounds. I think the most I ever weighed up until late last year was 124. Again, it's if you're working out and trying to get bigger because you hate yourself and you think it's going to fix it, it's not going to, but I will tell you it is a very useful tool for gaining confidence. So a bit of background. So like I said, I have been trying to gain weight since I was 17 years old, and something that is a bit unique to me, and I think might be part of the reason I've had it so extreme, is the fact that I do have celiac disease. And I didn't go gluten-free until I was 19. Because of this, my bones really did not grow that much. I don't know how well I can do this justice for how skinny my wrists are. That's an example of a fact that I just didn't fill out. I just didn't grow as much as I was supposed to because my body didn't get the nutrition that it needed during the times that it needed it the most to grow. And because of the fact I have a small frame, I have felt very insecure because I've always just been a small person. But something that I will say, just to get it out of the way, is don't compare your weight to other people. I guess it's okay if they have the same exact body type as you, but the thing is that body types are so complicated because people, you can be an ectomorph, but still, your frame is going to vary in size, and that does contribute quite a lot to how much you weigh and what a healthy weight is. If I gained any more weight if I gained any more fat right now, I would be skinny fat. And I am slightly skinny fat right now, but I only weigh 140. But the thing is that someone that has a bigger frame, if they had the composition I do, they might weigh 170, 180. It depends so much on your frame, so don't get too caught up on that. Between 17 and 19, I would periodically try to work out, but the thing is that I ate so much food. Honestly, when I was a teenager, I ate way more than I do now, but I couldn't gain weight. And the thing is, when I went gluten-free, I was like, oh shit, this is going to solve everything. And the thing is, it didn't. I didn't gain weight. I actually stayed the same weight up until a couple years ago where I put on a couple more pounds. It does take active effort to gain weight. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I did it because I tried and failed so many times. A big part of being really skinny is looking young. For me, when I'm super skinny, I look 5 years younger than I am. I just got so fucking tired of being perceived like a child and not being taken seriously by people. And no one really took it seriously. I feel like people generally thought I was exaggerating this, or I was just kind of in my head and this wasn't actually happening. But I can tell you that from going from like super skinny to being like a normal weight, it does make a pretty big difference on how you're perceived. It's really hard to explain if you've never experienced it before, but I noticed such a massive difference. When you're in your 20s and you look like you're like 15, people are not going to take you as seriously as if you actually look your age. That has just been my experience. I knew I had to gain weight, not only from, you know, a looks perspective, because I just couldn't take it anymore, but also from a health perspective, because being a rail is not great for you. Yeah, again, I tried several times to gain weight and it never worked. So when it finally worked, was last year. So from a workout perspective, I changed the way that I thought about it. So for many years, I was very obsessive over hitting every muscle group. You know, having like the accessory workouts, like all of that stuff. I got so caught up in that I think I kind of lost sight of like what really matters, which is consistency and progressive overload. And the thing is that I did kind of do progressive overload in the past, but I didn't do it enough for it to really make much of a difference. So the way to explain this is you could be working out really hard, but the thing is that if you're doing the same thing every time, your body has no reason to put on more muscle if you're not giving it like a reason to. If you're not forcing it to, it's not going to. That's just how it works. So becoming more knowledgeable about that, I started tracking every single workout. I did push pull leg, the six day split. I will say, when it comes to gaining weight, the approach that I have taken with it, this is just mine, because before I get into like what workouts I was doing, I want to make it clear. My mission has not been to be this ripped, super aesthetic person. That has not been my goal. And I don't know if that will ever be my goal. Maybe one day just to like try it, because that might be kind of fun. My goal has been to just be a normal weight. The thing is, if you are super skinny and you don't have any muscle on your bones, like I did, you kind of have to work out to gain weight. Now, the thing is, you could just stuff your face, but you're gonna get skinny fat. That's the thing with our body types, is that it's hard for us to put on muscle and fat, but it is easier to put on fat than muscle. So the thing is that if you're going on this journey, regardless of whether or not you want to be like ripped, because again, that was not my goal, and that might not be yours either. But the thing is, that does not change the fact that if you're trying to gain weight, especially if you're trying to gain it fast, you really do need to work out, and there's not really a way around that. Here's the thing though, do not get caught up in all of the different workouts that people promote online. That was a big part of my problem, was that I was so obsessive over the fact that a lot of these like fitness gurus really drive home how important all these like little things are, and like a lot of them will say shit like, you're not going to get the results that you want unless you do all of this. And it's like, you want to know the workouts that I did? I do weighted push-ups, weighted pull-ups, bicep curls, also squats. That is it. I don't do anything else, because the thing is, again, I'm not trying to be this like ripped looking person. I'm just trying to look bigger. All of those exercises work out the muscles that make you look just bigger, which was my goal. Again, this is all goal oriented. And the thing is that like just simplifying it to those few workouts makes it so much less overwhelming to get into. You don't have to overthink this. Like, it's really not that complicated. I mean, I've heard people online say shit too, like, if you do the same like exercise forever, it'll stop working. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. Just keep adding weight. Like, you don't need to like rotate your exercises. I've been doing the same things consistently for several months now, and it's been working pretty damn well for me. I realized that for a while I was going way too hard at it. It took me a while to realize, because I just like was not recovering. Like, it got to the point where like, you know, I was like gaining strength really fast for the first couple months, but then it got to the point where like it took me so long to recover, I knew I was doing something wrong, because the way that I was doing it the first couple months was like 9-10 sets, and like 4 to 5 of those being failure sets, which is way too much. That is way too much. Because I think in my head, when I first started working out again, Like my mentality was like, well, if I'm not doing all these other like exercises, I need to go really hard on the ones that I am doing, which, you know, is like sort of true. But don't do that much, okay? Like, do a healthy amount. I would say, because like what I do now is I do 5 to 6 sets, and 2 to 3 of those sets are failure sets, depending on how I feel. Again, I really want to put a disclaimer that I am not super knowledgeable about fitness. I'm not telling you to do any specific thing. Definitely do your research and come up to your own conclusion. I'm just saying like what worked for me. I'm not telling you to do that. That was the fitness side. And now, obviously, the other side of gaining weight, the hardest part about it is diet. When I finally started like just stuffing my face with protein, I immediately shot up in weight. Immediately. I mean, within a couple weeks, I gained 5 pounds, and I had never gained weight that fast before. It was instant, and that had remained consistent for a couple months up until I got to the point where I was sort of like a normal weight fat-wise. But the thing is, it kind of plateaus a little bit because muscle takes a lot longer to grow. The thing is, the quality of the food you're eating and like what's in it matters. So something I will point out is that in the beginning, like the first couple months, when I was really trying to put weight on, I did eat a lot more than I do now. I am eating at like my maintenance calories now because I like the weight that I'm at, and I don't want to gain any more unless it's muscle. My diet for breakfast, I had these things called Chobani Completes. I'll throw a picture of them on screen. They have 20 grams of protein in them, and they're really good for your gut health, and they have helped tremendously with my eczema, but that might be a topic for another video. Just basically saying they're really good for you. I would just down 2 of those, and I would down one of the 10-gram protein ones, so that was 50 grams of protein to start my day. I know some people say, but you can only metabolize 40 in an hour, and I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm not taking this that seriously. I would have 50 grams of protein for breakfast. For lunch, it would kind of vary. It was usually chicken, but a lot of it. We're already looking at 90 grams of protein. I generally would have a protein shake in between lunch and dinner, which would bump me up to 120 grams of protein. And then for dinner, I would make my own pizzas. And I tried to make them as healthy as you could make a bulk pizza. Basically what I did was I would not put too much sauce on it because that was not really the point. I would get my gluten-free crust. I would put a little bit of sauce, not a lot. I tried to make this as not unhealthy as I could, but that's kind of impossible with making pizza. And I covered that thing in cheese, and I covered it in pepperoni too. Like I really tried to up that protein amount. And I don't know how much protein that was altogether, but I can imagine at least 50 because like these were covered in cheese, covered in meat. But yeah, that was my diet for the first 2 months, and I shot up in weight. Nowadays, my diet is a lot lighter than that because again, I got to the weight that I was striving to get to, which was 140. What I have now is I have the same breakfast, the Chobanis, the 2 20-gram ones and the 110-gram one. I have that for breakfast every day. For lunch, that varies a little bit because of working. Sometimes I have to just pack something, but usually I will pack a sandwich with deli meat stacked about that high, which is really hard to eat because that's huge. But yeah, I do that, and I have cheese on that. That's a shit ton of protein. And then I also drink a protein shake with that. And then for dinner, it's kind of random, but as long as it has a lot of protein, it doesn't matter. Because that's the thing, is like once you get to the weight you want, and you can kind of slow down a bit, which is really nice. I will say it is the hardest, it's hardest in the beginning because you do kind of have to stuff your face in the very beginning to gain a lot of weight. Basically, get the right food and then eat a lot of it, is what I'm saying. Don't just like stuff your face with anything because it doesn't, in my personal experience, it does not work. So that has been all that I've done. Really pretty simple, right? Like it's not like overly complicated. But I understand that in the beginning, like I know for myself personally, I was really desperate to put weight on. Like I really was. Like I was just so tired of being that skinny. To summarize, you need to be doing progressive overload, but your exercises do not need to be that complicated. They really don't. In terms of diet, make sure you're eating high protein foods. You do need to eat a lot, but again, like the quality of the food matters so much. Avoid shit like mass gainers too. That stuff is not good for your body. I'm sure it works. I know it made my stomach feel like it had a brick in it, and I was not really thrilled about that. So I stopped drinking that stuff pretty quickly. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I really hope this helped people. This is a topic that is like kind of hard to navigate for me because, again, the mental aspect is really important and it's not really talked about that much. And I might do a whole separate video talking about that, making sure that you do this for the right reasons, because I can assure you, if you're not doing it for the right reasons, you're not going to last very long. Because what would happen for me is like the first few years, like I would work out for like a month or two, and then I would realize like, wait, I actually don't really care about this and I didn't want to do this and I was only doing it for other people. So I would get kind of resentful towards the idea of working out because of that. And it was just kind of like a cycle that like I just kept doing that over and over and over again. And it just got to be too much, to be honest. So yeah, again, what really changed for me was just really being like, let's be kind of rational about this, okay? Let's you know, get like ground ourselves for a minute and be like, it's okay if we mess up. Just try different things. If something works, cool. If it doesn't, it doesn't. This is all based on self-love and wanting to improve my life. If you want to see more videos like this, definitely let me know. This is something I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, but I didn't want to do it until I was at like a stable place in terms of fitness. Again, I don't think I am a big person. I don't at all. But when you compare this to this, I think it's pretty safe to say that it's a pretty fucking huge difference. And again, it makes a big difference even just not looking underweight. So yeah, thank you all for watching.